Thank you to our processional players, the Rodriguez and Keep duo. Please be seated. Welcome to the Spring 2014 Commencement for the University of Arizona James E. Rogers College of Law. First things first, congratulations. You have earned this day. In keeping with our tradition, we call on vocalist Robert Wenzel to open our commencement ceremony with the national anthem, and so please rise.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. Please be seated. Let me begin by acknowledging some of the special guests who have joined us on stage this evening, each of whom will receive a more formal introduction later in the program. The Honorable Andrew Hurwitz, Judge for the United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit, Brad Vanalik, the President of the Law College Association, and graduating students Robson Hauser and Matt Randall, who were selected by you, the members of their class, as the student convocation speakers. Thank you all for being here. Also, also joining us on the stage are those who have dedicated their professional careers, their lives, to your education, and who have made it possible for you to imagine that this day would come. They have been your mentors, your helpers, and your friends, and I hope we will remain all of those as you move on to the next stage in your life. But there is a new role, one we will now share. As members of the legal profession, this faculty and all of you now become colleagues as well. I will call their names and ask them to stand and request that you hold your applause until all introductions are made, even of your small section teachers. Jim Anaya, who recently concluded a highly successful tenure as the UN Special Rapporteur on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. Barbara Atwood, Paul Bennett, Shunling Chen, Mike Chirazi, Virginia Clark, Kirsten Engel, David Gantz, Robert Glennon, Robert Hershey Lear, James Hopkins, Mimi Huang, Christine Husky, Mona Imel, Willie Jordan Curtis, Karen Kowalski, Boris Kozolchik, Bianca Mack, Dave Marcus, Lynn Marcus, Dean Emerita Tony Massaro, Suzanne Rabe, Jamie Ratner, Susie Salmon, Billy Shostrom, Roy Spees, John Swain, Melissa Tatum, Janelle Vold, Brent White, and Rob Williams. Thank you all. You may be seated. We also have a special guest in the audience, although when I say that, I realize we have an audience of nothing but special guests. Professor Bold is the head of the Academic Affairs Department at the School of Law at the National University of Mongolia. He is not the only person who has traveled around the world to be with friends and family today, but I wanted to tell you for a moment why his being here illustrates some of the changes that are taking place in the law and at this school. As the study and practice of law becomes increasingly global, Arizona Law has made a commitment to prepare all of our graduates for a changing world shaped by the forces of globalization and technology. We have forged a number of institutional partnerships with law schools, and one of those strong partners is the National University of Mongolia. Professor Bold is here with us to watch with pride as the first two graduating students from the National University of Mongolia, Noman Dashniam and Nomandari Otoganbayar, graduate from the Advanced JD program. Please help me in welcoming Professor Bold. May 17th, 2014 is a date that I hope you will long remember. Everyone will remember. We want this ceremony to be meaningful for you and a true capstone to your time at Arizona Law. A time to celebrate with family, with friends, all of the profound things that you have accomplished. Walking across this stage today will be students who are the first in their extended families to graduate from college, let alone from law school. You inspire us, and we respect your ability to forge new paths. Others overcame obstacles in order to get here and to stay even when faced with some extraordinary challenges in their personal lives. We hope that all of your personal and professional lives will be filled with success and joy, but we know the reality is that that is not always the case. And those who have struggled with profound challenges have shown us the power of grace and of their character, and as I hope we have shown, the power of a community and the strength of family. We salute you. Many of you and many members of your families made sacrifices for your education. Some of you sat at night beside your children, doing homework in tandem, teaching them that learning is indeed a lifelong process. We applaud you. Some of you left your home countries, seeking to learn more about the American legal tradition and the global nature of law. You have enriched us beyond description, and your perspective has been invaluable, and we thank you. Tonight, we award degrees to 3 students completing the SJD, 16 completing the LLM degrees, and 138 students who can now put the initials JD after their names. We will also award to 5 individuals the Masters of Legal Studies degree, making them the first graduates of that program. All of these degrees honor your hard work and the dedication, the things you have now done. But I should say just a little bit about the things to come. You know, this has been a time of striking change for the legal profession. I think you all know that that is likely to be true for your entire careers. This has also been a time of change for U.S. legal education and indeed for this law school. When I talk to alumni who graduated decades ago, and members of this faculty with a long view of this institution, it is apparent that we have long produced lawyers for a changing world. We have also, in my experience, unique among law schools, produced not only great lawyers, but lawyers who like being lawyers throughout their career, who find honor and rewards in the service of the profession to clients and to society. Now that the pace of change and the kind of change has picked up, and together we have tried to respond, to maintain a solid core and build on tradition, we will all need to adjust. You are more than able to adapt and be agile because of what the people sitting behind me on this stage have done and what you have done with them in courses, clinics, externships, and in papers, in implementing and seeking new ideas, in building new tools, and in taking new perspectives. When we came, we told you you would learn to think like a lawyer, and you now understand, you have understood for some time, that thinking like a lawyer in a changing world means understanding things from multiple perspectives. Not only do our lawyers do many different things, they do them in different ways and in places too vast to count. Thus, the individual histories and knowledge you brought to this place and that we have nurtured together will now continue to be written by you, by your colleagues, by supervisors, by those who work with you, by your friends, by your adversaries, and by this changing world around us. In this changing world, you will still have clients, some of whom will come to you with the same problems they have come to lawyers with for a century or more. But many of your clients, many of those you serve, will come with new issues, issues that were unknown even a few years ago. These clients will present the challenges that the education we have given you should serve. You are uniquely trained to provide this kind of counsel and this service, to do it well, honorably, ethically, and we hope compassionately. This is true whether the client is an individual, a corporation, a government, a tribe, a citizen, or an immigrant, an adult, or a child. It is fitting that you graduate on the very day that 60 years ago, the landmark case of Brown versus Board of Education was decided. This anniversary is one of the transformative moments in U.S. law and society, and should remind you that the arc of history is long, that progress isn't always accomplished at a measured pace, and that beneficial change requires agents, it requires leaders, and lawyers in the law are often the drivers for change. Your future is to play an essential role in making a society that is more just, more equal, and more prosperous. So go, do your job, whatever shape that may take. If we have trained you well, you will make us proud and each other proud, and we will celebrate the changes you bring in the years ahead. Before you knew any of us, we made a promise to each other. When you applied, when we accepted you, and when you chose to come here, we promised each other that this law school experience would be a major chapter in your life story. But our mutual promise is not time limited. It's a lifetime promise. We have chosen each other, and now Arizona law will be emblazoned on your resume, and we hope on your soul. We hope you will stay connected, celebrate our growth and our challenges, and we will continue to celebrate your stories as they unfold with the 7,000 other alumni who serve as lawyers around the world, many of them produced in recent decades, but reflecting a history that is 99 years old. Your program offers short biographies of alumni who were recently selected by the faculty to receive Lifetime Achievement Awards. This is the college's highest honor. These awards will be presented at a special event later this year. We will let you know about it. We hope you will join us. They are an august group, including the first Mexican-American woman to be appointed as a United States District Judge, Irma Gonzalez. It includes former Judge Lawrence Huerta, the first Native American to graduate from this college, and who became the first Native American to practice law in Arizona. Judge Huerta was honored earlier today at a ceremony for students in the Indigenous Peoples Law and Policy program. At that ceremony, he described graduating 60 years ago and explained that his parents did not have enough resources to buy him a graduation gift, although they had been told by relatives that that is what one should do. His mother made a papier-mâché Lady of Justice with books, an owl, a sword, and the scales. It's an extraordinary piece. He brought it today to show us and then gave it to the College of Law. Former Arizona Supreme Court Justice Thomas Lackett is the third Lifetime Award winner. His tenure on the bench demonstrated a passion for law, for fairness, and for justice. Also in your program are profiles of alumni who received awards from the Law College Association and the University of Arizona Alumni Association at a dinner this past spring, and these alumni actually have a message for you.
Congratulations to the class of 2014. You're about to enter into a wonderful profession. Take every opportunity that comes up because your career will be different than you can possibly imagine.
Congratulations to the class of 2014. I know that 3 years has seemed like a long time. I'm here to tell you that I embarked upon this adventure a half a century ago, and I can attest to how quickly that time passes. I hope you will pursue the practice with diligence and with ethics and professionalism, but I also hope that you will realize throughout the course of your career that there's also life outside the law. Again, congratulations and best wishes in the field that you ultimately choose.
I just want to say congratulations to the class of 2014. I know there's going to be endless opportunities presented to you, and I'm proud of you, and I encourage you to take advantage of all those great opportunities that come your way. Congratulations.
Congratulations to the graduating class of 2014. You've now had the blessing of this fabulous legal education. Now go figure out what you can do with it.
My advice to the graduating law students is to find something about which you have a great deal of passion. And for me, it was public service. And within public service, it was something that allowed me the opportunity to give back. I always felt that when you graduated from law school, you really were on third base. You were almost home, and that this was some way not only to give, but to receive from that giving. And within public service, anything where you can get some trial work, even if you don't use that trial experience later on, it's a wonderful opportunity. Lawyers, I think, should have some understanding of what it means to stand up and bark like a lawyer in court, and I enjoyed that opportunity. Good luck to you in your future.
Here in 3D, to welcome you to the International Arizona Alumni Law Network is our class of 1999 alumnus, the outgoing president of the LCA, Brad Van Alec.
Class of 2014, what an honor it is to be here with you for your well-achieved commencement. On behalf of the Law College Association and our entire board of directors, I want to share our deepest gratitude for making Arizona Law your home for the past 3 years, and our warmest congratulations on this special day. Now, my recommendation for tonight is simple. Push the pause button, step back, and take it all in. Ooh, I'm about to correct my parents sitting there. So my next line is hug your loved ones and thank all of them for supporting you. I certainly can't wait to give my parents a hug after this. Now know this, the constellation that now represents your journey here is also the constellation that will guide you as you move forward in your professional journey. One constant guiding star in that constellation will be Arizona Law. What is Arizona Law? You heard a few things just a moment ago, but it's the 7,000 people who make up an amazing network across the country, indeed increasingly across the globe, including the Chief Legal Officer of Fender Musical Instruments, the CEO of Girl Scouts of the USA, the Senior Legal Counsel for the International Olympic Committee in Geneva, Switzerland, former U.S. Senator, a former member of Congress, a former U.S. Attorney for the District of Arizona, and a myriad of state, federal, municipal, bankruptcy, and appellate judges. It is an extraordinary group. The folks I listed are just a small sampling. They and we, as the association, are here for you. In addition to focusing on this amazing network, your focus should absolutely be on each other. You all chose a law school where your professors know your name, a school where effort is prized, where team trumps individual, and where why matters more than what. Our admissions office handpicked you because you were committed to the broader truth that a law degree is a bridge to making the world a better place. The single most important thing you can do as you move forward is to stay connected with each other. Meet for lunch, help each other out with job searches, go to alumni events, make the trip to each other's weddings, return for football games, Facebook about your kids with each other, tweet each other's successes, and above all else, be each other's champion. Your constellation and future journey will be made all that much more rich by maintaining the relationships that have been so critical to you over the past 3 years. And so I end where I began. On behalf of the Law College Association and the rich 99-year history of this amazing law school, congratulations, Class 2014. Here's to all of your future successes and to the bright shining star we call Arizona Law. Thank you.
Stay up for a minute. Brad, to thank you for your service as a distinguished alumnus, we'd like to offer this small token of our gratitude for all you have done.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Also in our program, you will note the faculty voted to name Beverly Parlill Rogers a Distinguished Honorary Alumna Award. Beverly could not be with us today, but has been a stalwart friend and philanthropist to the college and has earned her place in our history for her unwavering support. By selecting the next two speakers, the class of 2014 has given a preview of its collective potential. It should be no surprise this class selected the quintessential man of words, Robson Hauser, where he has earned such distinction in oral advocacy. If ever there was a man who found and pursued a passion fueled by natural talent, it is he. 2010 graduate of USC with a BS in Business Administration, Robson was involved in advocacy competitions at the national level as an undergraduate, earning the distinction of All-American Attorney with the American Mock Trial Association. Here he pursued opportunities in our award-winning trial advocacy program, and his accomplishments, all of which bolster our strong reputation in this area, include 2014 champion national trial competition regional tournament, champion in both 2012 and 2013 in the Joseph Jenks closing argument competition, sponsored by the Arizona chapter of the American Trial Lawyers Association. This, by the way, is an annual competition between U of A and ASU, and perhaps I should mention that this was the 4th year of victory in a row, unknown in the history of the cup. Robson was also a finalist in the Richard Grand Damages closing argument competition during every year he was here. He's demonstrated a curiosity about the opposite side of the podium as well. In the summer after his first year, he externed for U.S. Judge Magistrate George Foley in Las Vegas, and in October he will assume a clerkship in Judge Foley's office. He has interned in the City of Tucson Public Defender's Office and the City of Tucson Prosecutor's Office, demonstrating again, and something fundamental, the importance of learning perspectives and issues from all sides. Finally, he's acted as a mentor and advisor to dozens of undergraduate mock trial students at this university. He could be seen many long nights teaching them trial advocacy, evidence, courtroom procedure, case theory analysis, and public speaking. His students have now started to make their way to law school, sparked by his enthusiasm. Please help me welcome a passionate and skilled advocate and an effective law school recruiter, Robson Hauser.
That is really bright. Good evening, class of 2014. Since this is likely our last time all gathered together, I want to talk a little bit today about where we've been and what we've done and what we still have yet to do. And I want to talk specifically about us, the people down here wearing these ridiculous hats. Look at the group of people that we came through with. Think about the diversity that we had just among our student body. Athletes, veterans, doctors, deadheads. We had it all. Immigrants, native Tucsonans, single, married, divorced. We had people dumb enough that they would go to bar review before an 8 a.m. Friday class. And we had people smart enough to to pass the bar before they graduated. Top that, Harvard. But through it all, that group of people and the experiences we've had, this has changed us for the better. It's changed us in different ways, but all of us are not the same as we were when we came in. I know I was 22, one of the youngest people in the class when I came in, just out of college. And this was a different world. I didn't have older friends when I was in college. I didn't have married friends, certainly not friends with kids. But they were some of the first people I met at this school. And learning from them, seeing what adult life is actually like, well, that changed me as well. I had a friend that missed a final first year for the birth of his child. That's an eye-opener. And just learning from that changes us too. The experiences we've had, that's changed us as well. Before I came here, I hadn't met a Ninth Circuit justice. I'd never argued in front of an actual jury. I hadn't been to a 4th of July party in March. I hadn't played the glorious game called inner tube water polo. Right? I hadn't seen the real side of law, though. I'd never seen the desperation or the hopelessness in someone's eyes when they come to you as their advocate and they need your help. I hadn't seen the joy that comes afterwards when that help gets offered and justice is done. Those experiences, they changed me as well. And we've all had our own. Not one of us has experienced all the same things here, but all of us have changed. And all of us have changed for the better. So where do we go now? There's more changes to come. There'll be more marriages, more new babies. I think we counted that we had 5 just this year. More jobs, more new clients. We'll move away. And unfortunately, what comes with that is we'll lose touch. Some of the people I can see before me, all of them I consider my friends. And some of them I'll never see again. And that's sad. It's sad because of what we've built here together, of the bonds that we've formed, the experiences we've undergone. But even though that's the case, and even though we're all different, this has changed us. If you're like me and only want to spend every day of your career in a courtroom, or if you literally never want to see a courtroom a single day in your life, we're still bonded because of what we've been through these last 3 years. Our experiences, our lives are different. And that's mostly because of the students we had here. And I remember the time that I knew that. The very first moment I knew how important these people were. All of us. We were at Trident. Hang on. And someone led us in a gloriously loud rendition of Wonderwall. And I remember thinking at the time, or maybe in hindsight, these people more than the school, more than the professors, more than the lessons, certainly more than the reading. These people would change my life for the better. And so we move on. And I wish every single one of you the best. Now, Karen and I will fight on. But all of us will bear down. Thank you. Thank you, and good luck.
Thank you so much, Robson. Our next student speaker is Matthew William Randall, a Tucson native who served as a highly commended combat medic in the United States Army for 5 years. Matt's service was highlighted by being part of the remains recovery team. It was responsible for repatriating the remains of U.S. soldiers previously listed as missing in action from the DMZ in Korea and deploying for Operation Noble Eagle and Kuwait, Iraq for Operation Iraqi Freedom. Returning to the U of A as an undergraduate in 2008, Matt immediately became a leading advocate for veterans at the university, founding the Vets Office and Club, and serving as the Vets Office Director and President of the U of A chapter of the Student Veterans of America. He currently sits on the Board of Directors for Student Veterans of America and Senator Flake's Veteran Advisory Council, which are just two examples of his sustained and broad commitment to improving the quality of life for veterans. He graduated from the university, magna cum laude, in May of 2011, earning a Bachelor's of Science degree in Family Studies and Human Development. He was selected as a 2011 Roby Award winner as the Distinguished Honor Graduate of the class of 2011. He's a leader in the running of the Regional Military Veterans Treatment Court as Defense Counsel for indigent veterans, as well as in the Veterans Legal Clinic at the law school. His contributions locally, nationally, and around the state were recently recorded in the U.S. Congressional Record by Congressman Grijalva, and he was selected as a Tillman Scholar by the Pat Tillman Foundation and was named one of Tucson's 40 under 40 in 2011. He's been featured in many prominent media stories. Aside from sports, Matt's hobbies include spending time with his wife and children, golfing, and rooting for U of A athletics. An administrator here once asked Matt if there was anything that puzzled him about law school. Here is what he said. Well, one of my professors spent an entire semester hammering into our heads the idea that there were no right answers. And then he gave us a multiple choice test. That professor was, of course, Dean Miller. I give you Matt Randall.
Before I start, Robson, can you come here real quick? I want to give Brad Hyde some love. We're going to take a selfie. There you go. You got it? Thank you. Thank you. I had to. Maybe even less appropriate in the words of Lawrence Poneroff, if somebody could quiet that baby down, that would be great. That was day one. Day one. So, now that I've gotten that out of the way, I've been mulling over the content of this speech for some time, trying to find the right words, the right ideas to share with you all, my classmates, as we move forward. I wanted to make my comments meaningful and inspirational without being pompous or self-righteous. I must confess that I've been subject to many speeches over the years where people proclaim that they have the answers, the key ideals, which, if you follow, you will be successful. More often than not, I find myself tuning out their words, disbelieving that this stranger could have the magical words to fix my problems, and secure my successes moving forward. I hope that my comments tonight do not make me that guy. I only wish to share an idea with you, a thought I have about how we can make the most impact on our communities with this newly conferred role and responsibility. I served in the United States Army as a medic for almost 5 years. My initial foray into contract law was learning that my 4-year contract with the government didn't mean I could leave after 4 years. My first assignment in the United States Army was in the Republic of South Korea with the 17th Aviation Brigade. I was tasked with many roles, one of which was to be the medic for the Pathfinder platoon. The modern U.S. Army Pathfinders are an elite force, making up less than 1% of the United States Army. Their primary mission is to infiltrate areas and set up parachute drop zones and helicopter landing zones for the airborne and air assault missions to come. The Pathfinders were created in World War II when American paratrooper units needed a way to mark areas and guide aircraft to a specific spot. Early airborne operations without Pathfinders resulted in scattered drops that ended up as many as 7 miles off target. Darkness and inclement weather made it extremely difficult for aircraft to find the drop zone. So this elite force would go in prior to the main assault with visual and electronic signaling equipment to guide the aircraft to the drop zone and gliders to the landing zone. Most famously, World War II era Pathfinders are remembered for their heroic jumps into Normandy when they led the way for the Allied forces to invade Europe. The Pathfinder's insignia is a winged torch. This symbol comes from ancient Greece mythology, where runners opened the Olympic Games. They led the way into the arena bearing the Olympic torch. The Pathfinder's torch signifies the Pathfinder's function to light the way for airborne forces following behind. I have always taken great pride in my year spent as the medic for the Pathfinders. This was a group of men who willingly left the safety of the main force behind, going behind enemy lines, serving to guide their brothers and sisters forward. The torch these men wear on their chest signifies much about who they are, what they have done, and most importantly, what they are committed to do. There is something special about someone who is willing to light the way for others. Carry the torch so that the path is lit for all those who follow. As we move forward, we are faced with choices about what to do with our educations, what fields to practice in, what career paths to pursue. It goes without saying that the job issue has been front and center in most of our minds for some time now. I come to you all today asking that no matter what field or practice you find yourself in, you become the torchbearer, the pathfinder, the person who lights the way for all those who come behind you. The best leaders, the most effective leaders, lead from the front, demonstrating what can be done by doing it themselves. Each of us has had people in our lives that guided, mentored, and encouraged us. Nothing is more important to the development of a child than a meaningful and sincere support of those who care, knowing that someone loves them and believes in them, sees their potential, and encourages them to pursue their dreams. If not for those people in our lives, I doubt any of us would be here today. The responsibility to lead, mentor, and give back is now squarely on our shoulders. Taking the time in our soon-to-be busy lives to seek out and help others must be a priority if we're going to truly make an impact. Our chances to do pro bono work is an obvious way to give back, but we can do more if we think more broadly. In the past 3 years, many of you have shown me and my family your giving nature. Sean Estrada, speaking to my son's football team before a game, and then staying and rooting for them throughout on a Saturday at 8 a.m. Matt Smith, and his wife for bringing us dinner as we studied for the bar, Taylor Phillips for fixing broken computers, Dave Udall and his wife offering to bring dinner to my wife after our newest child was born, Garrett Yancey for dog sitting so my family and I could go to the Pat Tillman run, Kate and Clark LaFosse for taking care of the hotels for us so we could go to the bar exam, the Wolford family for coming to visit, Wade Davis for beating me up in the gym for my own good, John Lowe for reminding me that our muscles needed work in the middle of the bar also, and Russell Boatwright for knowing when another doc just needed to vent because no one really understands. This is just a sliver of the amazing, thoughtful experiences I've had with all of you, my classmates. I sincerely believe that we have been blessed with one of the all-time great classes to graduate from this school. We came together from diverse and unique backgrounds to form an amazingly tight-knit group. Now, as we head out and scatter ourselves across the world, we should strive to share some of that sense of community with others. There is no shortage of people in need, places that are wanting for help. Let our class legacy be that of the most giving, helpful, and charitable ever to graduate. May we light the path and carry the torch so that those who follow are strengthened and reassured by our leadership from the front. I challenge each and everyone here today to become a beacon for all those around them. Give of yourselves, not just money. Give time and effort, mentor and lead. This world desperately needs to have people who care more about others than they do themselves. We will most certainly find ourselves rising through the ranks in our fields and communities over the coming years. How wonderful will it be when we have achieved our goals and dreams, all while we focused on helping so many others achieve theirs. Nothing can be more fulfilling than knowing you have made the difference in the lives of others. Service and leadership are the same thing. Become servant leaders. Remember that we work for our clients and our communities. Our job is to serve them. I would not be standing here today if not for a long list of people who have helped and encouraged me, my family, my teachers, my friends. All have been a part of my success. My parents, my sisters, my grandparents have always believed in me and supported me unconditionally. My sons, who light my life and bring joy to me even in the saddest moments. My wife, who makes me a better man, supports me when I am not strong, and holds me when I'm sad. Her partnership has been the greatest gift I've ever been given. Lastly, and most importantly, my faith, without which nothing would be possible and I would be lost. I close with this thought. Where would you be today if no one believed in you? No one encouraged you. No one helped you along the way. Someone in your life had faith in you, believed in you, and gave you a chance. This is our greatest gift, to give someone our time and encouragement in their pursuits. Give of yourself, nurture others, and be a pathfinder in the craziness of life. Hold the torch and show people the way. Thank you.
Matt, thank you. Robson and Matt made it clear that they wanted to walk in with their classmates and stay with their classmates, and that's the kind of close bonds you've built. I'm delighted to introduce our commencement speaker, Judge Andrew Hurwitz. I could read the applause to save the bio. We just want to hear the talk. But let me give a little of the bio. It's amazing. He's currently a judge for the United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit, but he has served in many capacities in the legal profession and in civic life. A 1968 cum laude graduate of Princeton University, he earned his law degree at Yale in 1972. He served as a law clerk to Judge John Newman, then on the District Court of Connecticut, and John Smith on the Second Circuit Court of Appeals, before becoming a clerk to the U.S. Supreme Court for Justice Potter Stewart in the 1973 term. The breadth of his legal career speaks to his passion for the law, but also to his leadership skills. He left the Supreme Court clerkship for private practice at the firm of Meyer, Hendricks, Victor, Osborne, and Maladon, where he was a partner for almost 30 years. He served 2 Arizona governors as chief of staff for Governor Bruce Babbitt from 80 to 83 and Governor Rose Mofford in 1988. He understands education and the challenges faced by institutions of higher education. From 1988 to 96, he was a member of the Arizona Board of Regents, leading the board as its president in 1992 and 93. In his many years in practice in public life, he's also taught a range of courses at a sister college of law in Tempe, Arizona. For many years, he was a judge pro tem for Division I of the Arizona Court of Appeals, and in 2003 was named as a justice to the Arizona Supreme Court, where he served for 8 years. He's proven himself a first-rate legal mind and a faithful public servant. Let me say a few words about his service to us and to you as lawyers earlier in your career. He has a long-standing commitment to legal education and to helping young lawyers. Our students and our graduates have on many occasions been the beneficiaries of his mentoring, his advising, and his deep experience, and I was delighted when your class selected him to give the commencement address. Your speaker, Judge Andrew Hurwitz.
Dean Miller, faculty, guests, and most importantly, new lawyers. You know, when Dean Miller first asked me to be your commencement speaker today, I was, of course, flattered. My second reaction was panic. What in the world was I going to say to mark your transition into what I'm sure your professors once or twice referred to as the real world? I got over both reactions pretty quickly. I got over the flattery when I learned a few weeks ago that Condoleezza Rice was being paid $35,000 to deliver the commencement address at Rutgers. So it became clear that the first reason I was being asked to be here is that I work cheap. Absent budget cuts, who knows? You could have had Jon Stewart or Stephen Colbert. You might even have had Secretary Rice. And my panic subsided when I spent some time talking to my friends and my colleagues and asking them about their law school graduations. Who was the speaker and what did she say? And I learned that almost no one over the age of 40 has the slightest idea who their law school graduation speaker was, or indeed what the heck she said. This knowledge, as you might suspect, gives me some comfort. This is the first of my several dated song references for today, and don't roll your eyes, class. In 40 years, you'll be referring to artists that nobody remembers either. But some of the people in the audience may remember Gloria Gaynor, the great disco queen, who said, "At first I was afraid, I was petrified, but now I know I will survive. All I have to do is stay within the allotted time limit." But I must tell you, the urge to advise you is just overwhelming. You are, after all, talented graduates from a wonderful law school entering the worst legal market in history. And I, after all, am a judge of the United States Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit. I must have something important to tell you, mustn't I? So my first inclination was simply to tell you, don't leave. You may not realize it, but these have been the 3 best years of your life. Well, think about it. You've heard how distinguished and intelligent this faculty is. They never leave. But you all have to leave, at least for a while. So let me give you several small pieces of advice. It may not make you feel better, but it will make me feel better. The great catcher Yogi Berra was one of the great idols of my youth. Yogi was sometimes asked to play left field in Yankee Stadium. And in the late fall afternoons in Yankee Stadium, the shadows made it very difficult to play left field. Yogi was asked about it once, and he is said to have replied, "Yes, it gets late early out there." I have learned over the years that Yogi is right. It does get late early out there. More recently, Bruce Springsteen put it this way: as time passes, what seemed black and white turns to so many shades of gray. It was not very long ago that my generation of law students set out to cure poverty, end discrimination, and assure justice for all. And I must tell you, we were not entirely successful. Progress has been made, but there is still enormous work to be done. Our most vulnerable citizens are still victimized by violent crime and by financial fraud. Every month brings news of a new person in prison exonerated. And full participation in the American dream is not yet open to all. This justice stuff is not for short hitters. We have not yet achieved in our society what Dr. King hoped for us: a society where our children are judged solely on the character, on the content of their character. And even if there is no magic bullet, we're not going to get any closer to this without your help. So before it gets any later, and before it gets any grayer out there, we need you to start on the business of justice. You may recall another great American, Willie Nelson. He once said that his heroes have always been cowboys. Well, my heroes have always been lawyers. Some are famous lawyers, like Thurgood Marshall. We are here 50 years today after the anniversary of Brown versus Board of Education. And I can tell you that Thurgood Marshall saved the soul of this country simply by reminding the Supreme Court over and over and over again that the 14th Amendment meant what it said. But so many more of my heroes are ordinary lawyers. Lawyers who represent the poor. Lawyers who bring the guilty to justice. Lawyers who represent the accused. Lawyers who free the innocent. My heroes are public lawyers, private practice lawyers, public service lawyers, and lawyers who devote their time to their communities, to their country, their states, their citizens, and their neighborhoods. My heroes are lawyers who do every day what lawyers are supposed to do: solve the problems of their clients and of our society, and doing so with dignity, courtesy, and courage. Now, how do you become one of my heroes? And now let me be clear. I'm not suggesting you need to take a vow of poverty. If you've chosen the law to become rich, you've made a mistake. But there's nothing inconsistent about doing well and doing good at the same time. In the end, the formula is very simple. You show up every day and you do the right thing. What's the right thing? You've been here 3 years with this marvelous faculty and with this marvelous student body. You know what the right thing is. And don't be afraid to take chances. I moved to Phoenix in 1974, and Phoenix was roughly the size then of Tucson today, about a third of its current size. Most of my East Coast-centric friends thought I was Meshuggah. That's a legal term for crazy. But I took a chance to practice law in the wild, wild West, and it seems to have worked out. I hope you all stay in Arizona. But wherever your post-graduation plans take you, don't be afraid to take chances. Your degree is not just powerful, it's portable. You can do good all over the world. And along the way, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. You're probably all too young to remember the Jefferson Airplane, but I remember them, and they had a line that I loved. You better find somebody to love. You know, if you turn out to be the most famous lawyer of your generation, if you haven't loved and been loved in return, you will be a miserable failure. Today is a good day to start. Join with me in giving a little love to the people in the audience, the people that have brought you here, to your classmates and to your faculty. Okay, one more bit of wisdom. You know, it is, I think, standard for graduation speakers to end with the words of the poet laureate of my generation, Bob Dylan, and wish that you remain forever young. But it ain't going to work. You're not going to remain forever young. But I think what's much more important are the words that Dylan said just before the final chorus. I wish I could sing, but I can't, so I'll just say them out loud for you, and they are poetry. May your hands always be busy. May your feet always be swift. May you have a strong foundation when the winds of changes shift. May your heart always be joyful. May your song always be sung. That's my wish for you, class of 2014. Sing your song and enjoy the performance. Congratulations, lawyers.
Judge Hurwitz, in April, the faculty of the College of Law unanimously voted to confer on you the status of Distinguished Honorary Alumnus. Please accept our thanks and this token of our esteem.
Thank you.
What a career. The Arizona Supreme Court, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Ninth Circuit, Yale Law, and now Arizona Law, your resume is complete. One of our graduation traditions is a musical interlude, and today we offer two selections. Graduating student Hope Sullivan is a talented professional singer who performs with church choirs, the Tucson Symphony Orchestra, and university choirs. Today, she performs a selection from the Broadway musical, Wicked. Accompanying Hope is her mother, Mary Sullivan, from whom she learned her love for music. It is not all that common for a parent of a graduating student to be physically present on this stage. But all parents have a metaphorical presence as you walk across this stage, as you carry their love and emotional support. Mary, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
Hope.
Congratulations, you wonderful people, you.
I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something we must learn, and we are led to those who help us most to grow if we let them, and we help them in return. Now I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I'm who I am today because I knew you. Like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, I have been changed for good. It well may be that we will like a handprint on my heart. And now whatever way our stories end, I know you have rewritten mine by being my friend. Like a ship torn from its mooring by a wind off the sea, like a seed dropped by a skybird in a distant wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, I have been changed for good, and all the memories and all the friendships that we've made are unforgettable. And now we know that it's time to move on, but we'll carry these things with us for all our lives, like a comet pulled from orbit as it passes the sun, like a stream that meets a boulder halfway through the wood. Who can say if I've been changed for the better? But because I knew you, because I knew you, because I knew you, I have been changed for
I'm glad we got the musical lines from Judge Hurwitz, but the singing from Hope. Our second performance is a celebratory song from the Sisters-in-Law. They are a group of law school faculty, staff, and students with a love of song who come together at graduation to express the joy of your accomplishments. The song they will sing was adapted and introduced for this occasion by Ann Cart, a 2003 alumna. The Sisters-in-Law.
This year we are the in-laws.
Lift up your voice, let's start this celebration. Work for justice to be won for everyone in every nation. Give me that freedom, give me that freedom, give me that freedom, freedom, freedom. Lift up your voice, let's start this.
Lift up your voice, let's start this celebration. Work for justice, celebration. And for justice, everyone. Give me that freedom. Give me that freedom. Give me that freedom. Lift up your voice, let's start this celebration. Work for justice, celebration. And for justice, everyone. Give me that freedom. Give me that freedom. Give me that freedom. Give me that. Lift up your voice, let's start this celebration. Work for justice, celebration. And for justice,
Thank you so much. Yes, there is something else we're supposed to do. It is time for the moment, and might I add, the photographic opportunity your parents and partners and siblings and friends have been waiting for a year, 2 years, 3 years, maybe longer. We will now award SJD degrees, the highest degree offered by the College of Law. Earning it is an ambitious and exacting endeavor requiring years of study and scholarship beyond the JD, something JDs may find hard to imagine. Professor Melissa Tatum, who directs the Indigenous Peoples Law and Policy Program, and Professor David Gantz, who directs the International Trade and Business Law Program, will read their names. Deans Willie Jordan Curtis and Kirsten Engel will present our graduates with their diplomas. Now,
thank you, Dean. Thank you, Dean Miller. Today we celebrate the 8th graduating class of IPLP SJD students. The Indigenous Peoples Law and Policy Program's 3 graduates come from 3 different countries on 3 continents. They bring us to a total of 19 SJD graduates representing 10 indigenous groups in 12 countries on 6 continents. 2 of our SJD graduates could not be here today as they've already begun their jobs, one in Wisconsin and one in Kenya. And we send them our congratulations. Allison Vivian from Australia is here today. Allison, would you come forward, please? Allison Vivian.
We also have several SJD graduates, only one of whom unfortunately can be here, but we are very pleased to celebrate and welcome Hossein Mirsadri of Iran, who will be our 3rd SJD graduate.
Today we celebrate the 13th graduating class of IPLP LLM students. Today 6 graduates join the other 86 IPLP alumni who come from 39 indigenous groups in 15 countries on 6 continents. Would the IPLP LLM graduates please come forward? Darren Modulewski from Connecticut. Kenyanke Sina from Kenya. Queen Abaji from Nigeria. Brendan Kennedy from New Zealand. Kevin Kemper from Oklahoma.
I'm very pleased to welcome our LLM in International Trade and Business Law. This is our 20th class of the program, and we are very pleased to honor our new graduates. Masa Mokamakar from Iran. Bashel Al-Mahdi from Saudi Arabia. Daniel Rodriguez from Mexico. Guan Yuhan from China. Parth Shah from India. Juan Chavez from Costa Rica. Marie Picard from France. Louise Madsen from Denmark. And Chisholm Okafor Paul from Nigeria.
Today's graduates join a global network of Arizona Law alumni now working on 6 continents. To these students who represent the University of Arizona around the globe and who are indeed reshaping our world, we thank you for all you have brought us. The first class of MLS students, Masters of Law students in the history of Arizona law, will walk our stage today, and Associate Dean Brent White will read their names.
Cora Crecilius. Suzette Federico. John Howard.
Finally, we award the degrees to members of the JD class of 2014. Professor Jamie Ratner will read their names.
Jillian Nicole Marini. David Lloyd Udall. G. Kimball Smith. Hope Sullivan. Julia K. Paul Freeman. Marie Tanha. Stephanie Suzanne Coughlin. Christine Alger. Emily Arnold. Joseph Munley. Jeremy Bowen. Jeffrey Hawes. Rosamar Varela Gradile. Melissa Ehlers. Swati Malik. Maget Diai. Katya Lancero. Nikita Gupta. Joshua Lifferton. Matthew Smith. Christopher Becker. Melissa Lori Shingles. Joshua Furman. Alex Coomer. Nicholas Bauman. Greg Laver. Jose Solis Jr. Joseph Austin. Joshua Proper. Bridget Therese Shea. Nicholas G. Rodriguez. Anthony Paul. Timothy Kinney. Mihai Samartinian and friend. Mia Websdale. Cassidy L. James. Nathan Schott. Brett Shaw. Ryan O'Neill. Jana Sutton. Jeffrey Scott Wolford. Bradley Hyde. Russell Boatwright. Wade Van Sickle. Alex Winkleman. Dale Seven. Matthew McCrae. Zachary Friedman. Daniel Ariano. Alexander McCourt. The Sean Paul Estrada. Garrett Yancey. Jonathan Lowe. Lori Gunner. Adriana Contreras. Lindsay Schroeder. Sarah Shady. Skylar Colavito. Alexis Campbell. Callie Ray Anderson. Ala Goldman. Catherine Sullivan. Christopher Thomas Hicks. Karen Jerichko Lowell. Catherine Kelly LaFosse. Teresa Ann Miller. Will Pugh. Jamie Yamaguchi. Ryan Shane Lemaster. Robert McGee. Catherine Elaine Gully. Christopher Boudelier. William Frederick Bevins. Andy Yuan. Alberta Chu. Noman Dashnyam. Chia-Chi Yu. Nomandari Atgambayar. Ian Farrell. Charles Russell Sherrick. Keith E. Terry. Michael DiGiacomo. Amanda C. Montegudo. Kimberly Ann O'Hagan. Nicole Riley. Jordan Pegler. Kevin Moyer. Douglas Tyler Brailsford. Dylan Stedman. Andrea Marie Simbro. Alana Duong. Jessica Ellis. Amelia Esper. Michael Harris. Joel Buckley. Brian Boltman. Kevin Christensen. Justin DePaul. Basil McCarrum. Michael Matthews. Ben Heller. Taylor Allen. Dominic Olivetti. Yvonne Rose Love. Jane Murphy Birch. Lisa Hen. Benjamin Schaefer. James Furlman. Bobby Yu. Quinn Jackson Shumway. Kathleen Smith. Nicholas Belot. Taylor Gregory Phillips. Robert Rosval. Michael Lester. Rudy Teachea Padilla. Judith Elizabeth Davila. Maria Lamelli. Eddie Labor. Roy Buckmaster. Ariane Rose Kerr. Marlene Lamb. Jerry Lococo. Michael Marsh. Omar Vasquez. Jacob Zuniga. Rebecca Stanton. Jeffrey Schwartz. Edward J. Walneck. Robson Hauser. Matthew Randall.
So it feels official. It feels like we're done, and we're close. There are magic words, and they are some of the most enjoyable words I ever say. Will all of the graduates with all degrees in the class of 2014 please rise? Now, those were the magic words, but these are the ones that we have to say. By the authority transferred to me for this ceremony by President Ann Weaver Hart, and vested in her by the Arizona Board of Regents, I now confer on you the applicable degrees of SJD, Master of Laws, Master in Legal Studies, and Juris Doctor. Let me conclude the evening in the spirit of song that has defined this ceremony by referring to the profound insight of two other philosophers and writers. Judge Hurwitz, I'm hearkening back, I think, to the right era, when John Lennon and Paul McCartney said, "And in the end, the love you take is equal to the love you make." Thank you, and congratulations to all of you.